sign our shit today. You good?
Sign your, you mean for the sale?
Yeah,
So it's happening.
hope so. Inspection went off yesterday. They came back with very few little niggly things.
Yeah.
So
Is that so? So the sign off happens. That means the escrow's done and the deal's done, or that means you still have escrow.
they take possession the 28th of June.
Oh, got it. So you got a month.
Yeah, so the sale is done though, and if they back out, they're they
Are you leasing back for a month or renting back for a month?
No.
No. Okay.
No, we could have. I never thought of that, but
Yeah.
we need a little bit of time to get our shit together to figure out. We got a lot of stuff to sell.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Well, yeah, we got 2 houses worth of stuff.
Oh, God.
And we'll be down to one house.
So. That's going to be your full-time job for the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, fuck. Not mine.
Well, somebody's.
Yeah. Well, my wife will be in the city, so she will be doing all that.
Yeah, right. Right.
I'll offer to help Andy, but that doesn't usually end in a yep. Come on over and help me.
She likes to do it. She likes to. That's her thing.
Yeah.
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 I get that.
Realtor is trying to FaceTime us right now. Anyway, so what's up with you?
Normal stuff. I've got a couple clients that are potentially coming on board this week or next week or the following week. Whenever it happens, it happens. You know, it's funny. The longer I do this, the more I don't care. You know, I mean, it's not that I don't care, because I really want to help people and serve people, and the people that I've made proposals to and offers to, I know that I can. I know that I can make massive differences for them and help them in their life as long as they want to. And they've, but there's a point at which they have to say, they have to be in. You can't push a rope, right? You can't make them. So
frozen.
If it's not the unless it's frozen. It's fucking Canadian. Of course you'd say that. Niagara Falls freezes every now and again.
Right.
Shit. Oh my God. But yeah, no, like it's like I don't have it was funny. I was thinking about it this morning and I was like, God, because one of them I said, our launch session, we should do a couple hours. And he has a job where doing that during the middle of the day is just not in the cards. And so it meant putting it off to a weekend. And the first weekend he has available to do that is like the first or second weekend in June. And, last night I started thinking, God, did I mess up by doing that? I'm like, no. If it's a no in 2 weeks, then it was a no now.
Yeah.
Then, it's kind of it's a very liberating feeling. Like there's freedom, in that. Mm-hmm. It's really nice.
But it is where you need to be.
Exactly. Right.
Because knowing that you deliver value and not concerning yourself whether someone sees that or not.
Right.
And realizing like that might not just be the right person.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right. Right.
And what's most important is that you're in this mindset of the buyer, not the seller.
What do you mean?
When you go to buy something, you're not wondering if you're going to buy something. You're in the mindset of, I know what I want, how it's going to happen, what I'm willing to pay, all that stuff.
Yeah.
When it comes to, selling your services as a coach, it's most important for you to have that mindset so that you are asking the appropriate questions to know that they're the right person for you to do the work,
Right.
i.e. you're in the buyer's mindset, not the seller.
Right.
It's like what you may have done years ago in the gym when someone came in, you know who was going to succeed and who wasn't in that gym because you knew the culture.
Yeah. And there was this same sense that's kind of, I'm coming to now of, my name is Buck and I don't give a fuck. Like, like it's not that I don't give a fuck. It's not that, like, literally, it's just that here I am, here's what I do, here's what I can do for your life. We spent 4 hours together, 6 hours together. I've already demonstrated that this is what the work is. Now, if you're the right person, let's go, let's do it, and knowing that there are plenty of fish in the ocean, and there's hundreds of thousands of people that are looking for me that I don't even know.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it's been this has been a process for me to get back to this place. It's funny that I had that as a CrossFit coach, is running the gym. I don't know really where I got that, but getting to that place as a life coach has been a process for sure. That's not like, it's not been like just, oh yeah, remember how you used to do it in the gym? Just do it like that. It's a good context and it's a good reference point, but it's not just like I can turn that on, like I have to, it's a process to come to that. And I'm still not fully there. If I was fully there, I might do like what the ultimate coach does and says, it's 150 grand for the year to work with me. And, all I need is one client.
Yeah.
I don't do that yet.
So when you think about how you've defined what you do in the term of life coach, when I say life coach, what does your brain say? What's the first reaction you have?
Well, I don't like the term. It's kind of like, I always didn't like the term of personal trainer. Like I really recoiled against that for years. I wouldn't call myself a personal trainer. So my first gut is, ugh.
Yeah. So why are you using it? Because that's not what you do.
Well, now that I'm not a personal trainer, I refer to myself as when I used to be a personal trainer. So it's really interesting because it is descriptive in a way that people get the context. They don't get, they get that kind of. But it's kind of like the reason why we didn't used to put our rates on the website when I was running my CrossFit gym is you can describe it all you want, but you don't get what we do until you come in and you see what we do. And you don't get why you'd pay double, triple, quadruple what you'd pay at a regular gym without towel service, without a sauna, without a jacuzzi, without valet parking, without a towel, did I say towel service? Yeah. Why would you do that? And you don't get it. So like, I don't know how, that's always been a challenge for me. Life coach now is the same thing as personal trainer was for me.
Yeah. So I just find myself wondering why you're using it, because the reason I'm asking is because when you say it, you say it with a little bit of disdain.
I know, and I need to either change how I say it, or I need to get over that, because that doesn't work.
Because what you do is not definable in that sense. Because what you do is unique in the fact that you're Andy Petranek and there isn't another one of you around.
Right. So then what do you call yourself? I'm an Andy Petranek coach. I'm a coach. I'm a
coach.
Professional coach.
Yeah. Mentor, coach, whatever you want to call it.
Well, I like to distinguish mentoring from coaching. Mentors, I think, are people who have walked the path that you want to walk and can guide you because of their experience doing what you've done. But I could hire a coach that's never done what I'm doing, and still I can coach people whose path I've not walked, and I can still coach them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of like Tiger Woods coach doesn't have to be a scratch golfer to coach Tiger Woods, you know. Right. But it's a good question. It's a good question. Like the way I'm titling it on my email signature is life, leadership, and relationship coach. So like life is far enough away from coach because of the leadership and relationship that it feels more comfortable to me. It's not like life coach.
Right.
It could just be in my head. That could just be a story in my head, but it does feel, that feels okay. Whereas just life coach is like every Tom, Dick, or Harry who just goes out and gets a certification. Now I'm a life coach. I can help you. Maybe
it's always the challenge, right? And I recoil about anything that strives to define who or what I do, who I am or what I do, because I don't think it ever accurately does. And I think it always sets someone on, oh, you're a Jim. That means whatever it means to them is what it means. Like, yes, I don't like to use the term.
Right.
So when you say life coach, and then I think about the interactions I've seen you have, and like, you know, I started this men's group. You were on the first call last week, and I saw what you do.
I took a little bit of a deep cut. I went a little bit down low, but sometimes I can't help myself.
It was great. But that, you know what, Andy, like, that's not, I don't define that as a life coach. That's right. Andy being Andy.
Right.
And just showing up and taking a shot at what he thinks is right.
Right.
You don't even fucking know that guy.
Yeah, right. I don't know any of those guys. Yeah, right.
And like, afterwards, Jeff stopped by here and he's like, that fucking Andy guy. I like that guy.
That's really funny. That fucking Andy guy.
But like, he really appreciated the risk you took.
That's very.
And it probably didn't feel like a risk to you.
No, it just felt very organic to me.
Yeah.
It's just what I know. It's what I think, you know, like, and yeah, no, I appreciate that. And you're right. You know, that's why it's so hard to put it in a box. How do you say it? I mean, are you actively, when you pursue, do you have a footer? Do you have a title that you give yourself? I mean, are you vice president of operations? Maybe that's what I should be, just VP of ops, VP of operations.
No, I have nothing. I have my name. And I, you know, like, I don't actively pursue, you know, creating a updated website. I don't, like, none of that shit.
Yeah.
I've only ever done it to appease someone else who might be doing the same, like with Malzone. It's like, he wanted to have a website. I'm like, all right.
Right.
I haven't needed one yet, but if that's important, I guess we'll have that.
It's funny how, I mean, I was just thinking, like, I know that's kind of ridiculous, VP of operations, but it would be very funny to be like, call you, you know, I'm the VP of operations for Petrana Coaching. You know, but it wouldn't, I don't know. It'd be fucking hilarious.
But I guess, like, the bigger question is, Andy, is like, why do you have to define it?
I don't know.
Because when you sit with someone and you feel like, oh, I really want to work with this person, they will understand that and you will understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, what you're doing with that person is unique to the two of you.
Yeah.
How do you define that? And if you do, isn't it playing a disservice or paying a disservice?
If you just put a couple words on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like now he's going to go describe you as, oh, Andy's my life coach.
Right.
And buddies are going to go fuck yourself, life coach.
Right. Right.
Like, no, I have a really special relationship with Andy and he's helped me with the following things.
So how would you want your clients to describe what you do with them? Like if they said, because people are going to use 2 words, 3 words. They're not going to be able to do a 30-second elevator pitch. They're not you. Like, what would you want someone to say that's not mentor? Let's just leave that out. What would you want them to say?
I would want them to say, here are the things that I have successfully achieved this year, and Ken was my guide.
So you're a professional guide.
I'm a mentor, but it's that's how people would describe me.
Yeah.
But I've had, like just on Tuesday, I did a year recap with a client, 2 clients. They're founders of a software company.
You don't write anything down. How can you do a recap? What the hell is that?
I'm surprisingly accurate.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, we did a recap, and they literally blew my mind with how much they felt I was a part of what they did. And it wasn't, I didn't frame the call to have a pat on my back.
Right. No, it's for them, for their sake.
Yeah. And they were like,
I mean, as you and I talk about a lot, it's the gap, the entrepreneur's gap.
Yeah. So, it is, I want them to describe it as it relates to them. Like,
yeah,
I don't need to be defined. Like, I don't need a process to be defined, because the minute you do, so I equate it to this. I accept a fight. I accept a client. I do my research into that client or opponent, and then I begin to train to get to a place where I'm ready for that client or opponent. And in that time of training, I've got a plan together. And then I step into the ring, and then I throw the plan away, because all I'm doing is fucking guessing. So now I show up in the moment, fully immersed in that moment, trying to figure out what it might look like to meet the goals they have.
You fucking Canadians. I just was listening to Jordan Peterson, and I've listened to one of his full Maps of Meaning courses. All of his college courses that he offers are online. They're all free on YouTube. I listened to Maps of Meaning from like 2017, but I don't know. Part of me was like, he's got a course on the Bible, and it's just, I tried to listen to it yesterday. I tried to start it. Each lecture is 2.5 hours, and it's just over my head. I mean, it's just, he's pulling in concepts from Nietzsche and not that I can't understand that stuff, but he's got such a level of mastery that he's fluent. It's like he's fluent in French, and I know like 10 words.
Yeah.
But one of the things he said was, when he lectures, he doesn't use an outline or notes. He's like, if I do that, I rob myself of the opportunity to think in the moment. And he's like, when I'm lecturing, I'm actually thinking as I lecture, and I'm generating thoughts on that topic fresh, as if I've never done it before, as if I've never, planned it before. I mean, I know he's got, like as a college professor, he's got to have a syllabus and an outline, and he's got topics, but you can really tell how he, I think that's one of the things that makes him so appealing and compelling is nothing's canned, nothing's pre-done. It's like every time he lectures, and I think that's one of the things that makes him learn. He learns as he lectures. He's learning again as he's thinking about it and just talking about it.
100%.
It's really wonderful.
But you do that every time you get on a call.
You're right. You're right. I haven't recognized how, like I remember one time we were having a conversation about that with you. You were telling me, I can't remember the story you were telling me, something about Glassman and how you didn't he like shut down the power of your PowerPoint or something? And
yeah, well, so not literally, but like I had reached out to him because I had to give this presentation to first responders. And he said, I don't have any presentations. I always just whiteboard it in
you said that to him.
No, he said that to me.
Oh, got it.
And I was a corporate guy. I'm like, I know I need a fucking PowerPoint.
Yeah, right.
I need to think through all of this and have this plan.
Yeah.
And he said, no, I don't have anything, but they're there to listen to you. You don't need a PowerPoint. Just stand up and tell them what you know. And I was like, fuck that. I went back to my PowerPoint. I got it all mapped out. Spent hours doing it. I stood up on stage and my fucking laptop didn't work. And I literally around the room thinking, Glassman pulled the plug.
Right.
And I had my back to the crowd because I'm trying to figure out my laptop. And I finally just shut the lid. And his words went off in my brain. I turned around, and for an hour and a half, I just spoke.
Right.
And then I had a lineup of people wanting to talk to me afterwards.
Right.
That would not have happened if I had a PowerPoint.
No, right. 100%.
Because I would not have been my authentic self in that moment. And the beauty of it is this, Andy, like when it's done, I never remember what I said.
Yeah, no, I have the same thing.
It's awesome.
I have the same thing. Some people would say it's awesome. Some people would say there's something wrong with you.
I actually, the things that I remember are the most important things.
Yeah.
Those moments, right? Those moments where I say something and I catch the look on a person's face,
right?
Like that.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. Not to use it again because you can't. It's used up.
Yeah.
They had the moment.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, those are the kind of things that I search for.
Yeah, no, I had a couple really traumatic experiences trying to do public speaking when I was in the Marines, when I was getting into the Marines and when I was leaving the Marines, that really were so fucking traumatic for me. They just set me up to be a wreck around speaking. And one of them was, this was in OCS, Officer Candidate School. You had to give an impromptu speech. I think it was like a 3-minute speech. And they looked at your history and they picked something that was you had I think you had 3 to 5 minutes of prep time. So what they would do is they would pull you into the office and they would give you your topic. And then what we did, because we're in a barracks, really, we're doing this, a squad bay. It's nothing formal. The Marines are all sitting on the floor and you're standing up getting in stock. And so your prep room was in the head, was in the bathroom. That was where you prepped. And so they look at your background and pick something that's related, that something about. It's not completely like they're not going to tell me to talk about butterflies. Mm-hmm. So mine was on Louis Armstrong because I played the trumpet and, you know,
I didn't know that.
dude, it was, I came out of the bathroom and I stood up in front of these Marines. I couldn't remember my own name. I couldn't remember. I mean, I was frozen, like deer in the headlights,
Here.
terrified, tongue-tied, terrified. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. And of course, you know, he brought me in later and said, you know, you failed that. And um and so, and then I had another experience when I was getting out of the Marine Corps where basically the same thing happened. I stood up in front. I was the third guy getting out. There were three of us. It was a dinner for all the officers and the wives for the three of us that were getting out. And the battalion commander really loved me, and he saved my little thing for last. And I was supposed to give the kind of the cleanup talk. Same thing happened. I just stood up, and I remember looking at my friends. I couldn't remember their names. I couldn't remember my own. I like barely could put the words together to speak my own name. And that just set me up for a lot of trauma around public speaking and being able to be centered in myself, like being okay with me,
Yep.
with other people looking at me. And which is when I'm my best. You know, it's like it was hiding behind all that, there's a lot of just self-judgment. Like, you're going to fuck this up. You're going to do it wrong. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're saying. Like the voice inside just got overwhelmingly loud that caused me to just, what am I doing?
Imposter.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, now it's fun in practicing when I'm just one-on-one. It's what's happening in a client session. That's exactly what's happening. You're live. You're the more connected you are with who you are and accepting you are. I think the more accepting I am, the more value that I bring.
Well, because you're not in your way anymore.
Right. Right. Right.
This is what people talk about being in your own way.
Yep.
It's oftentimes very hard to figure that out, but you just spoke it.
Yep.
And it's just one instance, but it's a big deal, right? And if you're hiding behind that, whatever it is, that fear, that littleness, not there, that you don't have a belief in what it is you bring to the table, then you are cheating the person on the other side, not yourself.
Right.
And I remember early-ish on, you know, I was mentoring gym owners with Two Brain, and I was on a call with someone, and they were going through a particularly difficult time, and I said something, and then I heard a voice in my head that said, "How the fuck did you know that?" And I literally was looking down on this conversation from over my shoulder, wondering, how did I do that? Because the reaction of the other person was so fantastic. And I'm like, how in the hell did you come up with that? And it was all through experience, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it happened just so naturally. That's when I started to actually sit in feeling natural about what it is I can bring to the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
And stop holding back because I'm afraid that of whatever.
You start trusting. And
yourself.
right. Trusting yourself. and trusting the universe, trusting spirit, trusting God, trusting that it will come through you. The right thing will come through you, and not. I think the big thing for me is judging, the self-judgment. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing that is the huge blocker.
Yeah. And the other thing is that you're going to make mistakes and you're going to say shit that, oh, that wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to see that reaction too. And you've got to be okay with that mistake and be able to talk about it and go, I don't know everything.
Well,
And so that humbleness is great too.
Is a mistake really a mistake?
No, it's an opportunity.
Right. It's not like it's reframing that as I did the best I could in the moment to answer or do or say whatever it is I felt was the right thing to answer, do, or say in the moment. And turns out that whatever I did and said, now in hindsight, I don't, well, that might not have been quite the right thing.
Right.
It doesn't mean it was wrong.
No. I strive to make mistakes. That means I'm pushing myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every time I don't, then I feel like shit. Like that goes for everything, like getting on a dirt bike and, looking at something that I'm like, that might not go well. And giving it a try and being willing to make a mistake, maybe get hurt. But if I don't do it, what am I doing?
I have a lot more experience physically doing that than
right.
Or a lot more confidence physically doing that. Like I learned that early with skiing. I learned it with kayaking. I learned it with CrossFit. I learned it with, a lot of stuff, a lot of the sports that I do, a lot of the, running and for some reason I have a skill set that makes that easier. I don't know if it's easy, but it's certainly easier. I can look at that and go, oh yeah, I'm going to give that a shot.
Yeah.
It's harder for me. Well, like something happened yesterday. We were at my son's last soccer game of his life in middle school. He's in 8th grade. Hey, buddy.
Oh, hi.
There he is. What's up?
I just want to check what time we're leaving to get it.
Probably like 1:00.
Okay.
Cool.
And then from there we go straight to Dylan's.
Yeah.
Okay. And should we get lunch?
Yeah, we'll get lunch down there or somewhere. We'll stop somewhere.
Planner.
Huh?
Planner.
Yeah, he likes to know. Well, he doesn't have school today, and his buds are getting together at his friend's house, but his cleat is falling apart. Literally, the bottom is peeling off of the upper, which I think that's planned by the shoe companies. I think there's better glues that they could use that they just don't because they want to sell more shoes.
Yeah,
pisses me off. But so we got to go down to El Segundo today to pick up a new pair of cleats for him because he's got 3 games this weekend.
It's gonna be Blister City.
Yeah, no, they figured that out. It's
okay.
They're the same brand, they're Adidas and the same style. It's just a half size bigger, and I think it'll be okay. But so yesterday was his final game of middle school. He's done. Like this school has gone from K through 8, and this was and fortunately they got any games with COVID. Like everything's been canceled, so he got like 3. I think they got 3 games. And one of the parents, who happens to be a really good friend of mine, or friend of ours, through the school, because Dash and this kid have been such great friends. Right. So we become very close with their family. We align in a lot of ways with them in ways just more, we connect more deeply with them than a lot of the other families. And but the dad is a hothead. In fact, he and I co-coached the AYSO All-Star team. It's called the Extra Team. And when Dash was 10, I think 10 or 9 or 10. And which is they take all the teams in a certain division and they pick the best players from all those teams, and they form this kind of, it's called the extra team. And they wouldn't let him be, he's a good coach. He's a good coach-ish. He's not a great soccer player, but he's a good motivator and he's very strong and forceful and good for the kids. But they wouldn't let him be the coach by himself because he's such a hothead without me being the assistant coach. So like I was kind of the calming force around him. Yeah. So so yesterday during the game, beginning of the second half, the ref made like 2 really bad calls in a row. And he just got them wrong. He just got them really wrong. And the ref obviously didn't have enough either composure or to change, you know, I think refs play it's an interesting job to be a ref, because you want to get the calls right, but you also want to make sure that people know that what the ref says goes.
Right.
And so we got an out of bounds call wrong, which is just a weird thing. Like it was very close to him. It was obvious, and he just got it. And he got about 5 minutes before that, he got a goal kick wrong. He gave the other team a corner kick, and it should have been our goal kick, which is a big potentially game-changing event. And then he called a penalty on us, and it was insane. And so my buddy just went apeshit, and the coach then went apeshit. The coach almost got a red card. Our coach. And, you know, this is a scrimmage. This doesn't mean anything. This is not a championship. This is not even a league game. There's no record, 1 loss. And I wasn't visibly shaken. I wasn't, you know, like, it's not like but I could feel myself like turtling up, just like collapsing inside, because I don't know really what to do with it. And we're friends. And so like, if we weren't friends, I would probably be better off, because I would be able to compartmentalize and, no, that's just fucking, that guy's an idiot. And then we went out for burgers and fries afterwards with the like 5 boys that had been the tightest on the team. And it was still there. It was still there in me. Like I got in a little tiff with him around, you know, he's like, I think he just says things that are triggering. And so I was still triggered. I was still triggered from the thing. And he's an expert at triggering people. Like he's really, really good at it. He's really good at a lot of things, and he knows he's good at it, and he uses it to leverage himself. And so it's a very similar feeling to the feeling that I had when I, you know, like in these places where I'm not trusting myself. And you know, so I was certainly not happy with the way I interacted at the when we were getting burgers and fries, because I could feel that I was just off. I wasn't really able to be myself. And so it's interesting how those things happen, you know, like I haven't really spent any time thinking about it. This is the first time I've expressed it.
What comes up for me as you're going through that is I have that same feeling. I think what you're describing with my father-in-law. He's the worst case scenario guy.
Right.
And as an optimist, like it just throws me all the time.
Yeah. I just thought of something. I had another experience. I watched a 10-minute video on all the reasons why you should not trust the vaccines. All the conspiracy theories around the mRNA and how it's who knows, and hasn't been tested. And I was so off after that, because, you know, like now it's the kids, they want the kids to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
And I think you hit the nail on the head for me. I'm thinking why it throws me off, because I am the eternal optimist. I trust, and I holy, I can feel it right now. Like I feel myself getting disturbed inside.
Yeah. uh, you know, like we'll be working on, like we recently, after a year, we finally got our backup generator hooked up. So my father-in-law is an electrician by trade, and um, the amount of fear that he tries to instill with all these worst case scenarios. Like the lid of the generator is open.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's gonna go, he's gonna leave there and go inside the house to the panel. But before he goes, he has to tell you not to put your fingers in there. It's live, it could kill you. And for me, I'm like, my brain jumps to, what do you think I am, a fucking idiot?
Right. Right.
It's an engine, first of all.
Right.
It's hot. Second of all, the least of my concern is putting my hand in there and getting electrocuted.
It's like a blender going and somebody saying, don't stick
put your hand in
there. You might lose it'll rip your finger off. Like, what do you think? Really?
Does that need to be said constantly?
Exactly.
So their whole family, based upon this worst case scenario, if I'm leaving from here to go to the city, they all have to get together before you can leave to see you off in case you don't make it.
Come on.
Swear to God.
In case it's the last time.
I'm like,
wow.
I'm not living like this.
Right.
Like, so that same day with the generator, don't put your hands in there. And that was, constant.
Yeah.
And it could be the same visit, and he goes in and out of the house 10 times. He'll tell you 10 times.
It's hilarious. This guy, this dad.
Yeah, same thing, right?
He says, ocean, danger, ocean. Don't swim in the ocean. They're sharks. You could die. Ocean equals death.
Yeah.
What?
So I was warming up the barbecue to do steaks. And a couple of days prior, I had done a chicken on it, and the grease of the chicken hadn't burnt up.
Yep.
I lit the barbecue. I totally forgot about the chicken time. And so I went downstairs and I'm doing something, and I came up and the fucking barbecue was on fire. Like flames coming out.
Right.
And I know why.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, I open up the lid, make sure that it can burn off without burning anything.
Yeah.
Turn off the gas, turn off the knobs on the barbecue. And he comes around he's down below and he's like, I smell plastic burning. And I'm like, well, it's a barbecue, Brian. There's no plastic on it. It's made of metal. Well, I smell plastic burning. What's burning? I'm like, it's fine. It's just chicken grease from the last cook. And that's what's on fire. It will go out over time. Do you want me to come up there and help you put it out? I'm like, no. Why did you call the fucking fire department right now? Call them. Like, oh my God, let's take it all the way there.
You're lucky you didn't get like sprayed with fire extinguisher, with fire repellent.
Oh. I'm like, just go away. It's fine.
Right.
Yeah. So you can tell how much it triggers me.
It's like cheese grater. It's like a cheese grater.
Yeah. We have a water filter system in the mechanical room.
Uh-huh.
And when we are putting in the generator, there's a new electrical that runs behind the water filter. It's encased in galvanized piping, and it's up against the wall. Mm-hmm. Well, that space that it took up some of the space of the water filter, and the water filter is touching the galvanized pipe. He says, I've got to move that because I don't want it leaning on my pipe. I'm like, Okay, well, is that part of the code? Like, no, I just don't want anything touching it. I'm like, well, you realize when you move the water filter system away from the wall, it's going to put pressure on it and we're probably going to get a leak. Nope, it can't be on that pipe. You know what he spent 3 hours doing afterwards? Fixing leaks. And they're still leaking. And I'm like, no, it was perfect before.
Right, right.
But you have to think worst case scenario, oh, the pressure of this water filter on my pipe, which is covering an electrical wire, is going to cause a problem 20 years from now.
So I got a question for you. If we both have this same, I'm going to call it a blind spot. Maybe it's not a blind spot. I don't exactly know what to call it.
It's a blind spot.
What's that? Flashpoint?
I can go from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a blind spot.
So I would call that with a client. If I had a client that came in and said something like that, I would say, well, this is an area in which that has you kind of holds you hostage. It kind of holds you in a place of you're powerless. You don't have control of your own emotions. You're being dictated. Your inner state of well-being is being dictated by the external circumstances of which you can't control. How do you deal with that? And why is it that someone else can push you out of your own state of peace inside? I don't have an answer.
Well, yeah, neither do I, Andy. I don't know how to combat it because I've tried on helping him understand what he's doing, not to me, but what he's doing as in the sense of why does everything have to be worst case scenario?
Mm-hmm.
And he's not willing to have that conversation.
Right.
So I never know when it's going to erupt in me because I don't, it's immediate when it happens. And I'm like,
yeah.
And it's just such a trigger.
I mean, he's doing it out of love and concern, and he's doing it for honorable reasons.
Maybe.
If you give him the benefit of the doubt, he's doing it for honorable reasons. Same. I guess I have to think about my friend. Is he doing it for honorable reasons? Well, yeah, I think so. I mean, he wants a game to be fair. He doesn't want anybody to get killed by a shark in the ocean. Right. He wants everybody to be safe and live happy lives and win games fairly, not with unfair rules. And yet I have this need to overlay my way. Like I have this inner sense of, well, he should do it differently. He should just enjoy the scrimmage. It's the last time you're going to see the kids playing together ever on a field. Just enjoy it. You're making it unenjoyable for you and everyone around you on the sideline. Yeah. Even kids, it was kind of a domino effect in the kids. Oh, yeah. His son started yelling then after that, and the kids get nervous. Why is it that I have this need to, like, my okayness is dependent upon him doing it the way I think he should do it?
I think what you're recognizing is the difference between right and wrong. Like if it's having a knock-on effect in a negative way across so many people, that's the difference between right and wrong. It's not your way or his way.
I don't think so. I don't think it's about right and wrong, because I have a hard time with just identifying something as right and something is wrong. Like my way is not right. Just because it's more peaceful doesn't make it right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Believe me, Ken, I want to believe that because that would be way easier. Well, I'm right and you're wrong, and just fuck you.
Well, yelling and screaming at a scrimmage game, that's not right.
Right, but it's inherent in the big picture of like the universe. It's not wrong either.
It is if it has negative effect on the kids playing the game, the parents watching the game, all that.
It's just another thing to deal with, like
Yeah.
If somebody was going to die, if he was literally if he took his gun out and shot someone, okay, I would agree with you. There's wrong. That's wrong.
That's a big stretch between yelling and shooting people.
I agree. That's evil, and I think there is evil in the world. And or if he were to he was so upset at the ref that he got his home address and drove over to his house and fucking shot him, or like beat him up.
Let's hope not.
Obviously, no, that's not happening. But so that's what I mean. Like, I don't look at it as good and bad. I look at it as a because if I do that, that robs me of the ability to look at it and understand myself better. Because would Buddha be upset with like I always use that example for myself. Like, well, Buddha wouldn't be upset, or Jesus wouldn't be upset. Jesus would just look at him and I don't know what he would say. Like, oh, he's upset, but it wouldn't upset him. It wouldn't throw him off his game.
I was, we were on a dirt bike trip in Thailand, and our guide is a Buddhist. And I was trying to get up this hill, and I tried a couple times, and I fell miserably twice.
Mm-hmm.
And I got quite frustrated, swearing, yelling, not at anyone but myself and the bike, right?
Right.
And the guide was so off his game by me being mad, he didn't know what to do. I mean, he's a Buddhist, and he's like, everything's fine, it's okay.
Right.
Like, that's his number one line. It's okay.
Right.
And you could see it, how uncomfortable it made him.
Did he just take off? He's just like, fuck it. I can't deal with this.
No, he tried to help. And then, when I kept saying it, I got it. It's fine.
Yeah.
He then went about it, whatever he was doing. So, I'm your buddy in that case.
Yeah. Right.
It shoots me up. I get angry at myself.
Yeah.
Not anything else.
Right.
And, it's like, I literally at some point always come to the conclusion, like, just eat a Snickers bar and like chill out, buddy.
Yeah.
Fictitious, obviously, but yeah, I don't know. I there's parts of me when it comes to my father-in-law in those situations I don't like.
Yeah. Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Me same here. I did not like look, while I didn't like my friend's reaction, I didn't like the way I didn't like the way it threw me. I didn't like the way it threw me when I was a Marine and I was trying to do the impromptu speech. I didn't like the way I felt inside, and so that's where I think the opportunity is to look at those things and go, okay, well, screw what the other person's doing. Don't push away the learning just because you think you're right and you think they're wrong.
Right.
How can you work with this and work with yourself to figure out what it is that's, upsetting?
Right.
Because it's not necessarily upsetting. Not everybody would be upset by it. It's not universal. Somebody else's that's a hothead might be just as bad.
Yeah.
And might see, yeah, go get him. Good job.
Poor ref.
Oh yeah.
Well, they're volunteering and
yeah.
getting yelled at by people.
Oh man, that ref was pissed. The ref didn't know what to do. The ref couldn't speak. The ref was just a mess. So
Well,
good stuff.
something about nothing.
Something about nothing. Yeah. Didn't know where that was going. As usual.
Yeah, where did we start? I don't know.
No idea. All right, man. Well, have a good weekend. And
Yeah, it's a long weekend here in Canada, so I'm
what's the holiday?
May long weekend is Victoria Day, maybe.
What was Victoria? Queen Victoria?
Yeah, I think so.
What did she do?
She was a queen.
Did she do something regal? Did she
I
like
don't know.
throw her dress up? What?
I have no idea. I think that's what it is. I honestly I don't know. What is this weekend?
Is it a national holiday?
Victoria Day, yeah. Doesn't tell you what. It just says in observance in Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, yada 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 yada. But,
You guys don't do you guys don't do Memorial Day, because no, you wouldn't do that.
That's yours next weekend, right?
I think it's in 2 weekends.
No, it's not this weekend, but next.
What's the date today? The 21st?
21, yeah.
Oh, it must be. Yeah, it must be next, because I think next week is the last weekend of May.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Memorial.
Well, enjoy your weekend.
Thanks.
I hope to be celebrating the sale of a house tonight. We have friends coming over. I'm smoking a brisket.
Ooh, nice.
Ribs. We're gonna do fish tacos.
Damn, I wish I could come over.
Yeah. Well,
I'm skipping a jump.
sometime soon.
If I had a private plane, I'd be right there. Boom. Time to manifest a private plane.
Start manifesting the $150,000 a year client.
I wonder if you could do a jet share, like some sort of jet share, so I could just hop in my
Sure.
my 1/18th of a jet. I just saw yesterday in the news that the first F-16 ever owned by a civilian flew today or yesterday or something. Like this civilian, I didn't know the military would.
Is that a good idea?
I don't know. I don't think it can be armed or anything. I think obviously they've taken all that shit out of it.
Yeah. Well, I know Tom Cruise has like Tomcats and all sorts of fighter jets.
His own?
Yeah. Yep.
He does some pretty gnarly stunts, that's for sure.
He's a weirdo.
Yeah.
No.
I like his movies.
I like his movies a lot.
Have you ever seen there's a great one with time travel. It's not called Die Another Day, or maybe it is called Die Another Day. I think it's called Die Another Day. Or maybe that could be the tagline. That could be the tagline. He basically relives a day over and over again, and he has to. It's part of this. He's stuck in this loop, and he has to learn enough in the day that he's in order to save the world. Basically that's.
Yeah. I've seen it.
It's really good.
Yeah. I like most of his stuff. Yeah, his personal narrative, I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah, no, he's got some interesting.
Do you know how many people from Scientology work for him? And if he wants to build a new house, he gets a lot of the labor for free from Scientology. Interesting, huh?
There are a couple documentaries about Scientology that I want to watch that I haven't watched.
Yeah, there's one that I watched not long ago I thought was really good. It's a messed up thing.
I mean, there's a lot of really good teaching in the philosophy of Scientology, but I think the implementation is questionable.
Don't go to a meeting.
What do they do?
Well, it sounds like you could be easily swayed.
I'm not going to be swayed. Not going to happen.
Good.
But there is good philosophic.
I agree.
Contextual stuff that's good.
Yeah, I think they've gotten a long way away from that, though.
Yeah.
I think that's the hook.
Yeah.
And then they have a whole bunch of other things around it that are not
Yeah.
related to that hook.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
So, all right, buddy. We went from you being late all the way to L. Ron Hubbard. I'm impressed.
That's crazy. Yeah. Crazy. All right, man.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks. You too. See ya.
Love you.